Well, I was wrong. But anyway, hello and welcome, everyone. I know, boo. Yeah, that's how we do it. We just like, boop, and it happens. I was gonna say you've listened to enough episodes of this. Hey, everybody! I am your host. This is Talking Tremors. Levi Dylan Burzloff-Lutt. I have someone with me that I really don't know very well, so I want her to really explain herself. Hey, everyone! This is a short, angry woman. Her name is Paige. What's up, Paige?
What's up, Levi? There's not really that much to say to me. I'm a short, angry woman. I love horror movies. I love anime. I'm a weeaboo. I'm a big titty goth girl. I'm everything in between. I am just a bundle full of energy. And one of my biggest loves was the Tremors series. Growing up from 8 years old to now, and probably even farther beyond.
Oh, I know, right? I'm gonna die a Tremors fan. Woohoo!
Oh. It's a hill I'm dying on.
No, actually...
And if I get eaten by a graboid, so help it.
There's actually a woman and then a man after her who, like, legit put in their obits, oh, like, we love Tremors. Like, that was just, like, last year, I think, or whatever. But I was like, that's adorable. I want to be that old lady. And, like, yeah. I love Tremors. It was a great film. Kevin Bacon. Actually, Fred Ward.
Even Michael Gross still has love for the series, and look at how old he is.
Oh, honestly, like, people like to shit out Michael Gross, and like, oh, like, he kept coming back and keeping it alive. I'm always surprised how much fun he has, even in those, like, he's the only thing that makes...
He has such love for the series.
That's what I mean, he really, like, he's the only thing that makes 5, 6, and 7, like, in the end, worthwhile watching. Like, he just is out there... I love my giant monsters, and I'm here to, like, do what I can with what I got, people.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I need to, actually, I need to finally, like, watch Family Ties just for Michael Gross.
I've seen Family Ties, and...
Tell me of Family Ties.
Him, it's like night and day. I mean, like, that's how great of an actor he is. And and do you want to know what I find the connection is here? Because it's a weird connection. Both he and Michael J. Fox have both acted alongside Christopher Lloyd.
Oh my God!
Michael in Back to the Future and Bert in Tremors. That is a circle. It's all connected.
Oh my God! You didn't
realize that.
No, I didn't. Now that you're saying, and I've even made that connection too with the. Because Christopher Lloyd does the Back to the Future references in Tremors, the series, so it's just like, oh, no, son of a bitch. No, I didn't. God damn it. That's why I love this podcast. Even I learn things.
Lloyd, that was one of the first things I saw him in was Tremors as Cletus.
Oh, yeah. Cletus Poffenberger is huge on me. Like, that's where I like Back to the Future, but it ends up being too weird of a movie premise. Actually, the first one's weird with the whole incest thing. I actually don't mind. The third one is my favorite Back to the Future.
Oh God!
Just to say,
think about that. My gosh, I don't.
I'm probably gonna lose a lot of fans by saying that.
I remember going to Universal. I live down in Florida now, but I used to live in Pennsylvania. We came down here for a vacation in 2003. I got a Back to the Future 3-set VHS case, back when VHSs were a thing. And now, I don't know where they are, but that was my first interaction with, like, Christopher Lloyd, because I went on the Back to the Future ride, and I saw him, I'm like, oh, who is this psychopath? And then later, when the TV series for Tremors came on, and I saw it on Sci-Fi, and I heard his voice, I'm like, hold the fucking phone.
I'm not talking about your worm! This monster's bigger than you can handle!
I loved it, like, when everyone, like, when he came into the store, he's like, run for your lives! And everyone's like...
Huh?
No, it's just so long ago, and he's like, I'm not talking about your worm!
I think he's been out in the sun too long. Had some bad cactus.
Oh my God, I fucking love it.
No, that's a great... Actually, that's where... that's what... that's one that always sticks in my mind because they use that as a commercial bit on Sci-Fi, like as part of like promos. And I just love that straight up humor of him like just screaming about like, there's a giant monster. And
you know what? Sci-Fi was before the rebrand and everything. Sci-Fi was like the best place to get your shit. That was in fact, it was on that channel. That's where I found Tremors because, and this is how my story goes. 8 years old, I was at my great aunt and uncle's place, and they had Sci-Fi on the TV because why not? And I saw Tremors 2. Tremors 2 was on. And it was just after the Shriekers started, like, after they burst out of the graboid when they were going at the oil refinery, and where, like, Earl and Kate are going up on those things and they're talking and shit. And I'm like, what is this? And I just sat on the couch and I just watched it. I didn't do a thing. I just sat and watched. And then Tremors 3 came on.
Oh, Marathon.
Like, what
yeah.
is this?
Yeah.
And I didn't pay it any mind, like, for a while. And then a couple months later in 2004,
yep.
I was in the local video store, which was owned by my friend's parents, and I saw this poster. And it had, and it was the Tremor, The Legend Begins.
Yep.
And I'm like, what is this? And so my parents, they were like they were the cool parents. They're like, okay, we'll let you watch this if you don't go out, because like I lived kind of like in a dangerous part of town. They didn't want me getting in trouble with that shit. So I said, can I get this? And they're like, sure. And I watch it, I'm like, oh, this is cool.
I know.
And so then I got the other 3 on VHS, like I rented them and I watched them back to back to back. I'm like, oh my god, this is great. This is amazing. Kevin Bacon, like around that time, I had somewhat of a crush on him.
I can't tell you how many...
8 years old, or 8, 9 years old, crush on Kevin Bacon, because why the hell not?
So many sexual awakenings because of, like, him in that mullet, or that hair in that movie. Like, that's man, woman, in between.
For me, it was him in Hollow Man.
Oh, really?
Because
oh,
I had,
wow.
Like, a thing for him in that movie. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, creepy as Kevin Bacon, too. Oh, man, that's he always scares the fuck out of me in that movie. Like, that was my first, like... freak out of like Kevin Bacon, like, oh damn, bro, you can act, because I knew him from Tremors and Footloose. And
then you realize that's kind of like, in a way, a remake of The Invisible Man, if you think about it hard enough.
Paul Verhoeven, that's the same thing. Like, it's the same idea. Honestly, I'm always surprised that Kevin Bacon has such a big horror career. That's a weird one to me. But your sexual awakening because of Kevin Bacon.
He hated fucking Friday the 13th. I know that he did not like that. He does not talk about it.
Yeah. He doesn't talk about a lot of things.
So.
But yeah, I was gonna say you. So yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Honestly, I knew it was kind of cute to listen to that story because I knew where it was going. Like.
What?
I'm sorry. Like hearing you like fall in love from like 8, and then like starting with 2, and then 3, and then like you see the other one at the store in the poster. And just like, I need that. And then finally go back to the first one.
And then the TV show came out. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be watching it. And I watched it. I watched it every single week.
Oh, nice.
Until it was done.
You and me both. We watched it at the same time. We watched it together because they only did it once.
But shit got so confusing because of the episode order. That was one of the worst things. Who handled that?
I mean, you've listened to enough of this podcast. You know.
You probably went through this enough.
Do you need me to say?
Something. I'm like, this will make sense.
Oh man.
And you're like, okay, we need a Graboid episode, we need a Shriekers episode, and we need an Ass Blaster episode, like in that order. But I'm thinking, but Shriek and Destroy is second.
Oh yeah.
I was ready to pitch a fit.
Like go and Sorry, I'm always so frustrated by this because exactly what you said is when you're introducing a TV show like that, especially with what you have of everything, you have to expand that mythology very slowly and steadily. It's a staircase, and yeah.
And then when Ghost Dance came in, when Ghost Dance came in episode 4, I'm like, huh?
What is this?
Cletus coming in.
What is there a green mist?
This guy. I'm like, I know it's Christopher Lloyd, but who is he?
And then
like, yeah. I watched the movies and I'm like, am I missing something? Is this a character from a comic?
So there's a weird part of me that ended up being like my idea of linear storytelling got distorted by watching that in real time. Because when, like, he comes in for the first time, they're all just like, hey, Cletus, how you doing? Like, yeah, we've known you. And it's just like,
and then he mentions 412, I'm like, who the fuck is that?
It's just like, so I only watched one episode. Did I just, like, miss a huge chunk of the story and I'm supposed to just, like, figure that out? Okay, I guess I am. Here I keep, because I was so young, I just assumed that was right. Just like, okay, I guess I have to be smarter. Like, let's go.
But anyways, so I was in love with that stuff, and then I was so a fan throughout the years, and then 2015 comes, this is when I'm a full-on adult, and I'm like goofing around on the internet and shit. I'm on Netflix, I'm searching, and then all of a sudden, new releases. It says, Tremors 5 Bloodlines. I shoot up out of my bed, I put on my clothes, and I go run into the garage where my dad is, and I yell, there's a Tremors movie out. And it just released, and my dad just drops his stuff. He's like, what? I said, yes. And so I go, and I tell one of my friends, Stanley, at the time, he was like the only other Tremors fan that I knew, because I didn't get around much. And he was my friend on an old broadcasting platform called YouNow, and he was a Tremors fan. I'm like, someone I can geek out with, but I guess when I told him, he wasn't too excited, so that just shows who of the two of us was the bigger fan.
Boo.
But I watched it, and it said Jamie Kennedy. I'm like, wait. And I went, and I IMDb'd it, and I'm like, wait, the guy from Son of the Mask? Randy from Scream? He's in this? Oh my god, this is gonna be great. And then, hour and a half later, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to give him, like, a Grady type of feel, because Grady, he is one of my favorite characters in the series. Grady is kick-ass. I would love to talk to the actor who played him.
Christopher Garten?
They should have had Grady come back.
Yes.
They should have had him come back instead of Travis.
I like you. Even more, like, the more you talk. Sorry, I'm just like, yes. My kind of Tremors fan. Yeah. Sorry, you can...
I've been told that by many guys.
No, I mean, I'll more mean just, like, it's a sign of, like, understanding the underlying story more if you, like Grady. Because a lot of people are always just like, oh, he's not Kevin Bacon, and I'm upset, and so then I take it out on everything else.
Better than Kevin Bacon, in my opinion. If anything, Grady was my ultimate crush. Oof. He is very...
I've never heard that one. This is a new one. Awesome.
He's a go-getter, and I love it. And then when I saw the third one, and she said, it worked out for your friends, Earl Grady, I'm like, wait, so then they did make Worm World. I need to see it.
Hell yeah.
See an episode on that.
Actually, I'm always, my biggest pitch for, like, anything is that, like, you bring Grady back, especially now that Fred Ward's dead, and, like, have him and Val.
Rest in peace.
Like,
peace, Fred Ward.
We love you, bro. But have him and Val, like, competing for who's the better, like, graboid hunter, in a sense, in like a at Worm World. Like, there's the whole, like, honestly, you have to do the Jurassic Park thing where, like, oh, obviously something went wrong. Actually, the story is right there. Earl died, and then Grady fucked up somehow. And, like, Now you gotta fix it.
Oh yeah, or like he gets a ass blaster or a shrieker, and then the ass blaster or shrieker starts laying eggs and stuff, and then they hatch and they become dark dragons, and then graboids, and then the whole cycle.
Jurassic graboids, man. Like I said, it just writes itself. But I've never heard. Like
I saw the meme.
That Fast and Furious one. That was a weird one. I always like those.
Yeah, but I liked it. And then, like, 5th one came out, I'm like, graboids in Africa. That can work. But then I remember something about the Thunder Down Under, where it was supposed to be in Australia.
Honestly, it's the same concept in the end. Like, that's where I get really mad at Universal. Like, they just basically, like, took the whole thing.
They just changed the country.
Just, like, that's it. Like, like, have you ever read the original 5? Like, it is just Australia. And actually, there's a lot of, like, really cool Tremors things in it. I don't mean, like, monster stuff, but it's always pissing me off that one didn't get made instead. But
and then A Cold Day in Hell came out.
Ooh.
When I saw that, I was a little bit burnt out from the Tremors thing, because, like, I was focusing on other things, mainly anime, because I'm the biggest weeaboo ever. One of the biggest weeaboos ever. But I saw it, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. And it's, like, graboids in the snow. I'm like, okay. I mean, hey, whatever territory isn't explored, we gotta try it.
it's right.
So, and I see it, oh my god, it's just the fact that it's all with a filter. Not real snow, just fucking sand. And it made me very angry. Again, short, angry woman, that's me. But I'm just saying, like, it's ridiculous how they were trying. I mean, I get what they were doing in Alaska. That is actually brilliant. It is. I like it. And honestly, a lot more characters live than I expected. Like, so few characters died, in my opinion.
I actually love the cast in that one, too. Like, that's a weird...
Yeah.
Like, you could tell that they're people on a set having fun making a Tremors movie.
And then they decided to switch things up. Like, the thing that caught me off guard the most was Val, the girl. When she said, "Here's a blast from the past. I'm Val and Rhonda's daughter." At that point, I spit out my drink that I was drinking. I'm like, what? So they're going to do this? Like, they're actually doing this?
They did the extraneous kid twice now. We did that plot twice. Like, we had Jamie Kennedy, and now we had Jamie Lee Maroney. Weirdly, 2 Jamies. Secret kid!
I like it when they, like, give us legacy relatives. That's what I call it. Because here's the thing. And I'm using Randy logic from Scream, which is funny because Jamie Kennedy. Because I call them legacy characters. Anything from the originals,
yeah,
that's legacy for me. But the fact that this isn't the first time they did something like this, because remember, in Tremors the series, they had Rosalita, who is my favorite character in that series. They have her as Miguel's niece.
Jodie Chang
and
is Walter Chang's niece.
Jodie was in the 3rd one, so to me, she's a legacy character.
Oh, okay, okay.
I know.
No, I see that different. I get it.
And you know what I think's weird is that 2 of the 3 female characters in that series are nieces.
Yeah, I know, right?
2 of the original characters in the first one.
They're trying.
I know, they're trying. And
do you want to talk about nipple shirt? Sorry.
Oh my god, yes.
We'll get there.
Okay.
No, we have to get there.
That's my notes here. So, I want to start off from the base. Let's start at the first episode, okay?
Actually, hold on. You were at 6. And we were talking about legacy characters.
Okay, 6. Okay, yeah.
And I was just you can either you keep honestly. I was trying to just keep you going. I liked your thread. Like I liked what you were doing.
Yeah. So legacy characters. That one guy, the one with the radio-controlled airplane.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I was kind of low-key simping for him because he was good-looking. I'm like, he's the type of guy that I would go out with. Typically, he's like the e-boy type. But I see that you're loving my shtick here.
No, it's not a stick. It's just more like I can't help but agree. Like just like okay, I see that, I understand. And they even have that like the daughter being like, he's got game, which I kind of find a little weird because she seems to be like 15 and just like he's like 30. Like that's a little okay.
Or she could be 20. She's a college student.
She seemed interny.
She could be.
Honestly, see that's where I wasn't even like I thought she was just so smart. That's actually I guess I was de-aging her. Oh, okay. I'll age her up in my mind. We'll call it a straight 18.
I was gonna say hey, I'm 29.
No, that's where I was like just like it always seemed odd to me, just like out of nowhere. So you simping for him. I get it.
But that, and then like I'm glad that they did the callback to when Bert was eaten by that one graboid, and it became like a disease. I'm like, okay, that's actually brilliant. That's low key cool.
See, I gotta like not disagree, but just ask this question of. You know, like tons of people been covered in graboid guts, and nobody else got the parasite. And also, why did it take like 15 years for it to happen? Like, it's just a hard plot point for me to swallow. I might, but
well, not a long while, but like several minutes. I'm thinking he probably swallowed some shit by accident. That's what I'm thinking. That is my logic.
That's my headcanon too.
If he has it, then the other guy from the 5th movie has it too.
Thank you. This is what I mean. Like, actually, oh my god, I was thinking that like on one of the podcasts I was doing. I was like, that guy has to die. Like eventually, like they didn't get enough antibodies, and he's gonna die. So like,
I was gonna say he probably won't live that long to get that sick.
Whoopsies.
Well, yeah, he's a tough bastard, but I
don't
know.
Nope. They weren't thinking. I always go to that. They weren't thinking. And really, actually, my biggest complaint with it is that it's the way that they do it is to like basically take Bert out of the game so they can bring in Jamie Kennedy for that whole torch passingness or whatever. And it's like, oh man, like they didn't, and they don't. They don't commit to it. So that's where I get mad with it. Like,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, they just don't commit to it in the end. Like that's where I see a lot of people that when they do the review of Tremors 6, there's always the like, so this is where you should have killed Bert Gummer.
They fucking tried, but you know, and then Bert's too much of a badass to die because you see him with the gun, you see him in that hospital gown. Once he gets up and you see his bare ass through,
like how do you,
I think that was kind of like a low point.
Yeah, like that's like to. So what are your thoughts on Tremors 7 then? Sorry, that's where it's like that's my brain goes right to that where it's like. Low point, and he doesn't even get any real redemption, and then you have this next. What were your thoughts?
Loved it. I actually loved it. He loved it.
Tell me why. It is a beautiful movie.
Okay. Well, not just for the cinematography, which I think that is amazing, especially for a 7th movie in a series like this, because usually at that point in other horror movies, it's like straight to VH or straight to DVD, straight to VOD, that kind of thing. But this, like, I don't know, it had an air about it. One, Michael Gross, always good. He's always, like, he delivered, like, the best, I think, in my opinion. He's like, I think they did great. John Heater. I was expecting to like him in this as much as I did.
I really do like,
And I did. I liked him.
I wish that they had just done have you listened to Jamie Kennedy's video on like why he wasn't able to do the 7th? Like they basically lowballed him on like, oh yeah, we wanted you to like lead the franchise or whatever, and they kept like increasing his pay for the last couple of movies, and they were like, oh no, you're gonna go back to lower than when you started. And he's just like, I can't, like, do that. It's like, okay. Respect.
That's probably because the fans were not happy with him.
No, well, that's true, too. But actually, sorry, to finish what I was saying there, Jamie Kennedy's man, I would have loved a Marvel-style recast where, like, we just take out Terrence Howard and bring in Don Cheadle with, like, John Heder. And, like, oh, yeah, this is Travis now.
That's one of my favorite recastings because I like Terrence Howard, he's fun, but I love Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle is my man. I love Don Cheadle.
It's me. I'm here. Let's get over it. Just like, that's all. I wish. That's my biggest complaint with Seven. Sometimes is like, you should have just like, because they had actually what I was trying to say with the Jamie Kennedy thing was that they had written Seven to have like him in it more. It's like, damn it, I really love John Heder. I wish that you had been cast in Tremors 5. Actually, imagine that world. Oh, John Heder in Tremors 5 and 6.
He is a national treasure in my eyes. He is.
Yeah.
I've heard great things about him. I heard that he's a wonderful villain.
I have never had any hate for him. I'm not like a big fan. Napoleon Dynamite is like I've seen it like twice. It's like it's hit or miss for me. But I like John Heder.
Go to school with kids wearing vote for Pedro.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so you love John Heder. You were simping on John Heder. He was hot in the desert. You were hot in the desert.
Okay. Maybe I was simping on him in Blades of Glory, but. We don't talk about Blades of Glory. We don't talk about Bruno.
Those tights, so tight.
Oh my gosh, let's not. Richard Brake.
Ah, I was gonna bring him up. I was just gonna do that. Why did they kill him?
When I see Richard Brake and like someone said like, oh, Richard Brake's gonna be the bad guy. When my man told me about that, I just dropped everything and I just stared into space. It was like that one Lisa Simpson meme where she just stares out, and I'm like, that was me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Richard Brake. And I know him a lot from Rob Zombie films because I'm a big horror nerd and I love his shit. Richard Brake, who's also a sweetheart. He made it fun. He is a fun villain.
Oh, yeah.
If anything, you know what they should have done? They should have made him Melvin's dad. So much sense.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, please.
Both pissing us.
Oh, please. Oh. No, he's my favorite part of that movie. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean that legitimately.
I like the Laura Croft type woman. You know which one I mean.
Honestly, I don't mind her. I always come back to that weird question of like, what's up with Don Michael Paul putting two black women with bows and arrows in his like movies?
I'm thinking maybe representation.
Yeah. It's just more like the specific, like I said, that you said that Laura Croft. I always love that black Laura Croft thing. Just like, why did that happen twice? I don't mind it. It's more like, huh.
I don't know.
It's a weird fetish. Okay.
Yeah, she's
okay.
Cool. And I wish they would have done more with characters because there are some characters who survive. They don't say a fucking thing.
No. Actually, I'm always really mad. There's a deleted scene. Actually, I think it's a deleted scene for the American version. Like if we watch it in the U.S., but all the other countries get it, where there's a rock, paper, scissors thing. Where there's these two guards, like, taking a piss or whatever, and they do, like, a rock, paper, scissors to go check out something in the bush. And I'm always really mad, because I'm like, why did you delete that? Like, that's, like, not only was it cool, like, character things or whatever, it was also, like, that's the first use of rock, paper, scissors in, like, 4 movies? And it's, like, a staple of Tremors? Come on! What were you deleting here, folks? Fools.
What I think they should have done with the original ending of Tremors.
Oh.
They should have left that deleted scene in.
Oh, you like that one too?
A little bit more.
I actually... Sorry, go ahead.
They go back for the lighter.
Yeah.
Where they go back for the lighter. And
hell, that's a good lighter.
Val has that spiel. Being like, what would a girl like her want with a guy like me? She's going for a goddamn PhD. if they would have like merged the two.
Oh. Weirdly enough, I've been trying to think of a way the last couple of weeks how to actually edit that so that happens, because I really do love that that tie to the end of Val and Earl's relationship arc for the movie. Like, because there's the, like, Earl is chastising him, like, really, man? Like, we went through all this trouble, and, like, you can't go after her still? And, like, you know, Kevin Bacon's just sitting there, and then he said that goes for the lighter. But you get this great subtlety of, like, oh, yeah, you wanted her the whole time. Get back there.
I think that line where, I think that the one that we got in the movie works, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're actually looking to get right out of perfection, going to Bixby, all that shit. But, you know, just this shit happens, you know?
Little tweak. Actually, one of the other edits I was thinking of was there's, like, straight up monster reveals. Universal made them put in some more, like, monster reveals, like the one POV with Rhonda and then the graboid attack with old Fred. And it was like, if you take out that one POV with Rhonda, you'd make the movie almost a little scarier, because you get like an extra 5 minutes where you don't know there's a monster, and then it just fucking happens in the middle of your like country western movie, and you're like, holy shit, oh, that would be awesome. But
you always need to experiment first before you find something that works.
Yep. So speaking of alternate endings, what do you think of the ending of this number 7 movie? Because there is an alternate ending.
Okay. I know, I've seen it.
To 7? You've seen the 7 alternate ending? Is it, like, what?
Or I've heard about it.
Oh, I was going to say, holy shit. Don't do that to me, because I know they filmed it. Michael Gross said that they filmed it, and that was part of his thing of, like, dying like that, was they had to film 2 endings. So I'm always like, I want that footage more than I want the Kevin Bacon pilot footage. I mean that. Like, that's a legit. What did you think, though? Give it to me.
What I think is that I think it was a good way for him to go. May lightning strike me the hell down, but I think that it could work.
If they ended it there? Like, overall?
Yes. Well, yeah, I think that... Actually, maybe not. Because here's the thing. There's always going to be another graboid out there. There's always going to be a case of, like, shriekers, ass blasters, and the like. Mixmaster is on the loose if we stay within that continuity. It's like a thing, like, it's never going to go away. There's always going to be plenty of fuel for the fire. It's what we do with it that matters.
I've always thought it would be best, like, if you were really going to do, okay, Michael Gross is done here, or whatever. Again, my problem is it's always just like, why would he want to, like, kill himself in the graboid's gullet again? Like, that's even more PTSD drama, or trauma. Like, it's just this weird, like, how much do you hate yourself thing or whatever. It's like, I don't think Bert hates himself that much. Like, there's a level of survivalism to it. I'm always for that. He should have just rode off into the sunset, or you just don't. What we have to do now with Fred Ward, where you just like, and there he went. There, like, off into the sky.
I was gonna say, Bert's story is done.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Oh no.
And plus, you know what else I think? I think that it's possible that he could have faked his death just to get out of the government's eye, because that would be a Bert thing to do.
I agree. So I can't. Come on, man. That's my headcanon. And I say that because that's Michael Gross's thing, where it's just like they forced the ending on him, and he would have gone for the just like, oh, like, I just don't want to do it anymore, and stopped kind of thing. So it's like, yep, you know, Bert just was like, nope, I don't want to pay no more taxes no more or anything. So peace, love, and hand grease, goodbye. I've always thought, actually, the best way to do it is, like I said, Michael Gross has to recede into the background. Like, why don't we, like, they have them play their ancestors. Like, this is the easiest, dumbest thing in the world. Where, like, why can't we just have the people act and play different relatives of people? We've already proven it once, and it was really awesome. Like, why can't we do this again?
100%.
And I mean that for all the characters, not just Michael Gross, but, like, yeah, everybody.
And now that things are, like, where they are right now, if we get another movie, I'll watch it. I'll always watch.
But will you be happy?
Was I happy with it?
No, I meant, but yeah, I'll get another movie. But will you be happy with it?
I think it all depends on what they do with it.
Right.
Because let me tell you, the fans online, holy shit. I didn't see in the I didn't take a look in the Discord for, like, all this stuff, but, I did take a look on fanfiction.net. What in the access is this? Because there are, like, 80 different, like, things. Like, there are, like, 80 different entries here. Some of this is just so nuts. It's like gender bent perfection.
Oh, I was gonna say, I've researched all of it. Continue. Where do you want to go with this?
Tremors 2, preservatives and caffeine, where Grady and Bert get to know each other.
Oh yeah, honestly, I love. Most of them are just slice of life stories. It's just kind of like, it's just these weird character vignettes. I fucking love them.
And then a few of them are smutty.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
I know. I always have a hard time, like, imagining them in that. Like, there's that whole, like, oh, Val and Earl are gay. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I believe you. But also, I was going to go back to watching my monster movie over here.
Don't even try to pair up Bert with anyone. Because here's the thing. The only thing that he's got a hard-on for is an AK-47.
Old Betsy. I love that line in the Tremors the series where Bert starts, like, stroking the gun, and Tyler's, do you want me to leave you alone for a minute? Like,
yeah. Tyler, okay. From this point, let's go on to the TV show.
Yeah. I fucking love Tyler. Sorry.
I got words. I was actually gonna say, you want to talk about crushes. Honey, Tyler Reed is one of the men I would now swipe right on Tinder. He has rugged good looks, and he has a good accent.
When you're looking at those fan fictions, a huge chunk of them have to do with Tyler being bi of some type. Like, he's a huge character in a lot of, like, he's in a lot, like, I'm always just like, okay. Again, I wasn't thinking that, but you are, so headcanon accepted. All right, continue.
He is Jack, but better.
Yeah. Like, always people are like, people are always like, oh, he's the same guy from Tremors 3. It's like, they saw what they were doing and they tweaked it.
They fleshed him out better.
Like, they made some adjustments.
Much more, I love the fact that he's race car driver.
Yeah, I always want to learn more about him. He's always that weird character. People keep talking about the dog tags that he has and, like, wondering, like, what's that whole story with his military dad. And I think that, like, that's why he loves Bert so much, is that his dad used to be in the military, reminded of him. Like, layers, bro. Peel him off. Why are you in perfection? Apparently it's a race car crash. He got into a huge crash. That's why he's there. That's all on the Stampede fact.
In his life.
A pit stop, yes. As if, honestly, I'm still, like, Tyler's still there. I'm always, like, he got off on that adrenaline thing. I don't ever see him leaving that place afterwards. Like, that's always a weird, no.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that they just ignored the TV show entirely in the movies. I know. Your reaction says it all.
It is.
But, I know.
But Tyler, I was going to say, bisexual icon.
Yeah, first episode. It's just, I love how he's, like, doing the whole tour thing where he's, like, setting his camera on, and he's just posing. He's like, this is a new chapter of my life, I'm gonna record it. And then Hitchhiker comes. It's just amazing. And Bert is just, like, he's just so laissez-faire about it. How many people has El Blanco killed?
7. That's the number he says. Or, no, yeah, it's 7, yeah. ATVs. No, that's a separate list. So at least 7 hikers.
Yeah, but that's in that month alone.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
He's probably got to be in triple digits at this point.
Oh my God. See, I was thinking that was just like since he started tracking it. Oh my God. Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
So, my favorite Bert meme is whenever he comments that people make him look paranoid.
60
he is so
minutes.
Self-contradicting at times. And I'm here for it.
There's the great, I love the trade-off of the line of like, oh, maybe it's good to know an antisocial paramilitary paranoid. And then Bert does a weird like ramble of, or maybe it's the NFA or the NSS or the government secret or whatever. And Tyler's like, well, maybe it's not good to know an antisocial paramilitary paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
Is it or isn't it?
I like Nancy's actress better than the one in the third movie.
Me too. I like Charlotte Stewart too, but I think Marcia Strassman adds something like unique to it.
She's more spirited.
Yeah.
More spirited. She's got much more to her, means that she is living life best she can out there, and I love her. Best quote by Bert for me: "The little turd." when he's describing Melvin, I'm like, oh my God, that's my favorite line, because they have so many callbacks to the third movie.
Oh yeah.
Because like when they're in the boat and the tarp comes off and he sees the Perfection Valley Ranches and he goes, "The little turd." That's one of my favorite Bert lines in that movie.
I love the slight joke that he does when Melvin is denying things at the end. With a little turd, always count on plausible deniability. I was like, oh, that's gross, but that's pretty funny. Okay. God, oh, damn it, man.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think that it's kind of pisses me off a little bit, but they kind of swept the Jack and Jody romance underneath the carpet to kind of make room for the Tyler, Rosalita romance.
I always feel like the one person who got disserviced the most in that series is Jody. Like, she kind of gets downgraded from 3.
They made her more of a go-getter.
Yeah. She needed more assertive.
But
yeah. No, she's my only, like, oh man, they went, like, I love Jody in 3, but then Leela Lee, I'm always like, oh damn, like, she doesn't get enough to actually, like, do something with.
And you know what, that's kind of, like, 2 characters who kind of got, like, a reverse card. Like,
yeah.
Jody's been downgraded, but Jack's, like, semi-character has been upgraded. And what's more, how many years has it been since Jack's been in perfection if he had to sell it to Tyler? If he had to sell the Graboid Adventure?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And what I think is funny is that it's been happening so often, and that's another thing, for them to be so used to El Blanco coming through, just the way that Bert is checking his mail while El Blanco comes through the place for like the upteenth time this week. Oh my God. It's just too much.
It's a great joke, too.
One other thing I think is funny. Whenever a new character appears, something has to go out of whack. Just to give that character something to do. For, in this case, it's Tyler. When he comes to perfection, El Blanco's going nuts. So, it's... I don't know. I think that it's a plot point that needs to be, done away with. But, I don't know. Gung-Ho Gummer. Nancy is ahead of the curve when it comes to figures.
It'll be great in Japan. It'll be great in Japan. It's always her, like, I always, yeah, hell yeah, man. And it is, I want one of those Goshopons. There's those little freaking Tremors toys that Japan just came out with.
They have Gashapons of those.
Yeah, that's what that's with Gashapon. I fucking want one so bad! But I can't, like, the shipping, I can't ever figure out how to actually get it here. So Nancy is right, ahead of the curve.
I'll try sometime,
yeah.
And if I can, I'll get it mailed over.
Hell yeah. No, like I said,
Okay,
Go Nancy.
Go Nancy. But one thing I wonder is how long has time passed since the third movie? Because it's just like a lot is going on. Has it been 2 years? Like, is it continuity-wise? Because third one was in 2001, right? And then the series is in rationally, series is in 2003.
Yeah. So I would say 2 years. Now that I'm, like, trying to, like, place that in my mind, it seems like 2 years. Because they have a whole set, like, the way that Twitchell is set up as the, like, guardian. Like, oh, man. I fucking love Dean Norris in this. But he's been there a while. You can tell it's been, like, his whole government thing is very routine to them. So it must be at least a couple of years.
Okay, but anyways, how does the visual effects hold up for it?
For me, honestly,
I don't know.
It's always that, like, early 2000s and 90s CGI where you're just like, yeah, I know that's not going to be great.
It holds up better than Sharknado, I'll say that.
They do enough practical stuff that, like, I almost end up not noticing it unless it's like a Shrieker or Mixmaster or Ass Blaster episode. Actually, one of my favorite takedowns from a Graboid is in the very beginning, that very first episode, when that hitchhiker goes down. And they legit drag his ass across the screen, and then you watch him go down. You're like, oh, damn, that was a nice practical effect. Nice trench you built, and then it's one of my favorites. So at least they have some practical, and there's a practical Graboid too, but yeah,
I think it's funny how when El Blanco went nuts and the grabbers were grabbing at, like, Jody, she was freaking out. She just fucking went up against an Ass Blaster 2 years prior. She killed one. See, that's what I mean by disservice to the character. That is just not...
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
That's what I mean, too.
And I'm thinking, every day's a school day when you watch this show. And Twitchell, we get introduced to Twitchell. Now I gotta say this. I know that I love Bert, I love Rosalita, I love everyone, but Twitchell, he is my man. Dean Norris, lately he's become a meme, but I don't care. Dean Norris has always had my heart. Because, like, when I was younger, I didn't really know the difference between, like, actors and stuff. I called them by their character names. So at one point, when Dean Norris was on an episode of Criminal Minds, I pointed my hand out while my mom was watching, and I yelled, Twitch! And she's like, what? She's like, what? And I said, that's Twitchell, W.D. Twitchell from Tremors. And then that's when I decided to look up his name. I'm like, okay, Dean Norris. But now, whenever we see Dean Norris on screen, wherever it is, my mom's like, look, it's Twitchell. I'm like, oh, god damn it. Remind me of some more stupid shit I did when I was a kid.
No, that's a good one, man. We all gotta learn.
No, it is, but, Twitchell, he and Bert are like co-parents for El Blanco.
That friction and the fire, I love those two. Bring them together.
I know, they're awesome. So, I remember when Rosalia was telling Tyler about her flamingo days, you know what, Tyler, don't worry. She's going to show you her flamenco dance later on.
It was so artistic.
Oy, let's not. My favorite quote from that episode is when he's looking through that little peephole and he says, trying to get through, but you can't, can you, Shamu? That's my favorite line from that. So.
Oh my god. He's fucking nuts, man.
Well, but you know what? He must be so sick of eating cactus to be willing to teach other people how to survive.
People would pay me? Dear God.
And I remember Twitch was saying about the guy having to shoot El Blanco, saying, like, it would be a
$50,000 fine.
And I'm like, that's chump change today, honey.
What? That's not... Oh, my God. Wait, what? That's a lot.
Well, to me...
What world are you living?
No. I mean, just compared to other things that I've seen. And I think El Blanco just doesn't like Twitchell and just wants to scare the shit out of him. Because he chooses at that time to pop up in the store like, hey, what's up?
He recognized the car. He's like, oh, that asshole's back. Time to go to town.
And then with the ATV driver, when he has a gun on Gummer, Tyler, what a quick thinker.
I love that.
Tyler, when he even knocked off Bert's head.
Oh! What? 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 I can't.
And of course, the person doing it was Melvin. We're gonna have him set up as like the big bad for this season. So that's fine. But
the little turn.
Episode, I loved it. It was great.
No, it's a hell of a start. It's a good pilot. Honestly, it's you can always tell if a show is going to be really good by whether or not the pilot connects with everything. And that pilot is just the same as all the other episodes. There's no difference. It's literally just all part of the story.
You know what? It kind of introduced one of my other favorite characters who is not really seen that much in the show, but I still like
Harlow?
him. Harlow.
I like Harlow.
Harlow's funny. He is like in Ghost Dance when he was talking about the coyotes, and then he smiles like when he knows that he's getting on Bert's nerve.
Okay, yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm going into Big Sweet Cowboy. I'll see you on
See you later.
I'm like, I like this guy.
Or
He's funny.
they're like all getting into the truck, and like, oh, we got to keep going. Harlow, are you coming with me? Don't got to tell me twice.
That was amazing. Like Harlow, and like when he and Rosalita were like checking something out, and they were just talking about Al Blanco, and he's like, yeah, he's one big subterranean pain in the butt.
Yeah.
You know, they're just talking about it as if it's another Tuesday for them.
Oops.
I'm just so, well, I don't know. I just think that the dialogue is really good.
It flows.
In my opinion. Because they've just normalized the fact that El Blanco, he exists. He's there.
It's a part of life.
And the one thing is, I think it's also, and this is where I'm going on to the second episode. I hope it's okay if I go through the episode.
Oh, no. We're just rolling. Hell yeah. Like I said, I was letting you lead. Continue!
Okay, so episode 2. You hear that noise of the shriekers, you know shit's gonna go down.
Oh.
I know on, like, reflex. Like, I hear that shrieking noise, I'm like, shriekers. No, not having it. So, and when they're talking about the survival school, Jody is the one who photoshopped Bert's face onto
Rambo. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. What?
I want that pamphlet so bad.
I don't.
I do. It's just ridiculous. Honestly, I love it too. There's always the Rambo joke. If you listen very closely in the first Tremors movie, when they're at the dinner table, or they're at the table at night in Chang's just talking about what to do or whatever, and Bert's going on and on. And what do you people got against being prepared? Where's the sugar? And then it cuts to Val, and you hear very slightly under his breath, Rambo.
I know, Rambo. I remember that.
So I love that, like, that callback to bring it all the way around of, like, him actually being Rambo. Just like, yes.
And you know what? I think that he low-key predicted the 6th movie in that episode, Bert did, because he says to Twitchell, when they're snowboarding in hell.
Yep.
It's kind of I like that. And I actually use that term a lot. If someone says something to me, like, saying, like, oh, I want you to do this, I'm like, when they're snowboarding in hell. And I think it's funny that Twitchell, he knows whenever he's in a pickle, he has to go to Bert.
Who else has he got?
And one thing to get Bert's ass moving, threaten him with eminent domain.
What'd you say?
Eminent domain!
I love his, like, response when Twitchell's like, oh, you have to do this. Newsflash, slavery was abolished in 1863. But then that straight... Wait, did you say you're going to kick me out? I will waste you! Sorry, I missed what you said. I was so excited. I missed what you said. Restart.
I said, you got to feel bad for Twitch because he is getting... he's just the low man on the totem pole.
G13, pal.
Yeah, I remember that. That carnival that they went to, Pioneer Days, worst carnival ever. Ridiculous.
I want that piece of meat.
I'm from Pennsylvania, so we would have a thing called Pine Otter Days. It is so much better.
Hey man, they didn't have the budget for it. Like, they had a Ferris wheel. Or no, they didn't even have that. They had Carousel, that's what I'm thinking of.
We didn't even have a Ferris wheel on Pioneer Days, but we had good shit.
Well, I'm sorry that the fair wasn't up to your standards.
Hey, shit's never up to my standards these days, but that's fine. And I think it's funny that Tyler sees a pretty face, he starts simping.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think that stupidity must be in the water because they're all especially when that baseball guy's like, the creatures, right? And I'm like, this is something that hasn't been recorded in very often. So think of this. I don't know. I just don't know.
I always remind myself that, like, MAGA Trump people exist, and that the whole, like, oh, you wouldn't think to be worried about giant monsters scenario happens a lot more than we realize.
Yeah, and that could be like an allegory for a whole bunch of different things.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a couple of, like, that paranoia among friends. I'm always like, yeah, this would happen.
I also remember, like, the guy, they called in another guy, and I'm like, this Black Hand Kelly wannabe.
No, he's the, I always think he's Muldoon from Jurassic Park. That's always what I get. Like, he's...
No, I think of Black Hand Kelly, because remember, they had to bring in extra help.
Yeah. Oh, in that same scenario or whatever. Now I get you.
Mm-hmm.
He's no black. Sorry, that's where, like, my brain's getting fucked up. That guy is no Black Hand Kelly, and I'm always like, dude.
I said wannabe.
Get out.
I said wannabe. Black Hand Kelly wannabe.
You're right. Wannabe indeed. So I'm always like, God. When he dies, I kind of just like, I should feel bad about this, but also I don't.
I don't.
Like, you got.
I think it's also
he got people killed. What is?
Despite their budget, they have more gore in the TV show than they do in the movies. The most gore I've ever seen in the movies is when Julio got his leg ripped off by the Shrieker.
Actually, and I love that when you actually now that I'm thinking of it, the most damage that happens is Shriekers. Like you get the most gore in this episode, and then Night of the Shriekers is really horrifying too for it. And actually, the Flora and Fauna one has a great one too. Now that I think of it. Oh, Blast from the Past with the severed corpse and the foot.
With the shoe.
It's a foot.
It's a foot.
No, I freaking love the gore in this. I'm always like, I feel like that's...
Yeah, I know. I'm a big gore hound.
Like,
and when I rewatch it, I'm like, okay, now I remember why I like this.
Yeah. It feels... What I was trying to say there was it feels appropriate. It's like, because they do it with, like... You wouldn't get gore with graboids, because obviously they're just going to swallow you, like, whole, or they'll split you in half, maybe. But Shriekers, I've always thought, Jesus Christ, imagine the mess that those fucking things would leave. Just eating everything and everyone in their path. Like, oh, dude. I love it. I love it. I do. That's why Shriekers are my favorite. I love they're nasty fuckers.
And it's in that episode that Tyler gets his first kill.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, you never forget your first Shrieker kill.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was hitting a similar note to the second movie when Tyler let all the Shriekers in to the, like, garage. It hit the same note when Bert did the same thing in the second movie.
It rhymes.
Like, a lot of the same notes are happening in this episode that happened in the second movie. Like someone locking Shriekers in with a bunch of food.
Using a piece of hot something to have Shriekers chase after. Actually, now that you say the thing, the musket scene is legit from the original too. So that's why, like, actually now that I'm thinking of it, they probably just
I remember that one.
They probably just used a bunch of stuff that they wanted for 2 in that episode.
And slippery SOBs. Tyler is picking up dialect from Bert so fast. It's like he's going to be Bert 2.0 once this show's over.
Yeah, he's the one that should have been carrying the torch.
He just wanted an excuse to drive the car. He just wanted to drive that goddamn car, and he got his excuse. And one thing, I think, if we take things into context, I think that Bert sees Tyler more as his own son than Travis.
I like you.
Yeah, see, I got your approval.
No, it's not. All I do is just, like, talk on a microphone. That's all this counts as a podcast. There's no approval for shit.
I know, but I mean, like, I see that my personality got your approval.
Because it's true. What you said, I always think that, like, I think the best pairing of someone with Bert is Travis. Is Tyler. I almost said Travis.
Tyler.
Bert and Tyler is the best. Peanut butter and lamb chops. You know, I don't like. Not actually.
Anyway.
Like, I couldn't think of a better analogy.
And what I'm thinking is, who the fuck gets a blue ribbon for their doll collection at a fair? I have questions. Who wrote this episode? I just can't.
You got problems with Melanie Dugan and her doll collection? Sorry, there's a literal fair happening like a mile away from me right now. I actually had to make sure my windows were closed because there's a dumbass country concert happening.
Legit?
Yeah, no, I'm. That's where I'm kind of laughing at how much you're hating the fair because it's happening over there. And oh my god,
I don't care.
No, please do because I'm just mad at the fair too. I think I had tweeted that picture. There's a fucking Confederate flag.
You told me. I know. I saw. I'm like, okay, he's gonna. Like, and you're where? Iowa?
Iowa, man. Sorry. It's the first thing you see. So you want to talk about dumb fairs? That's where I don't mind this little kitschy, oh, you get a blue ribbon for your marmalade. Mm-hmm. Much better than what I'm dealing with right now.
Okay. Anyways, the baseball team. The baseball team showing up at the house, that was one of my favorite moments. I'm like, oh, good. Finally, we got civilians fighting back.
See, Bert, it pays to make friends.
When Twitchell was coming and saying, they're coming. I need that as my ringtone. Dean Norris yelling is my life.
Gummer, kill it! Kill it, Gummer! Gummer, kill it!
Yep. And,
so, like, what are we supposed to do, man?
So they're heat-seeking organs. Oh. Yes.
That's another line that they would use in promos a lot. The, don't fire until you see the heat, like, and you think it's gonna be cliche every time you hear it, but you're like, God damn.
No, it's not.
Nope, that.
It's funny.
Because it hits just that right character note. And actually, the way Michael Gross even pauses, like, heat seeking organs, like he has a problem with it himself, but he's like, I don't care, this is what's happening. It's really great acting on his part.
Okay, so seeing Bert pose in victory, that's my serotonin. If I need to get happy, I just watch that scene and I'm like, because it's just so fun. And then Tyler getting clocked in the face by Miss Pioneer Daisy, my friend. That's funny.
What? I didn't say the thing that hit me was a shrieker. Actually, and I love
the third episode.
No. Before you go, I always love that ending bit there, where they're just in Chang's or whatever, and they're just talking, and this is where you can see the whole Michael Gross's Family Ties influence. Like that came in as him being executive producer. Because, like, you have those, like, Jody and Rosalita and Tyler, like, being cute together. But then my favorite thing is Nancy and Bert, like, hashing out names. And Bert just kind of, like, ignoring Nancy, just like, okay, whatever. But she still keeps trying. And then finally she hits that right.
Says, "Freak and destroy."
Catchy. You're like, oh, shit. Nice character building. That was good. It's cute.
Yeah.
So 3 and the nipples.
Yeah,
Let's do some nipples.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
And that's actually how I came to find the Twitter page. the nipple thing. I'm getting to that, okay? So, one thing that I'm going to say off the bat, I'm never going to try hang gliding in Nevada. That is a bad idea. And also, how the hell do you hang glide in a place like Perfection?
There's mountains.
I mean, yeah, there are mountain ranges, but, you know, they're far away.
I don't know. I don't hang glide. I don't pole vault either. I don't know. It happens.
One thing. Tyler, ladies' man. Bet everyone would swipe right on him. I know I would.
Actually, hold on. One of those fan fictions, and this is my headcanon now. Like, they don't say that it was a woman on the phone call. Just saying. He just said something about doing good with his tongue. That's all. We don't know that that's a lady, though.
Okay. Let's stop. Oh, God, I'm red in the face now.
Boom. Tyler, ladies' man, and man's man. Hit it.
Everyone's man. Again, TV show, more gore than the movies. I can't. A bunch of girls when Bert said a bunch of girls. I'm like, are you kidding? Who were you into in the first movie? Do you want to run that by us again?
I always have to point out, Burt Gummer would have died in that basement if Heather hadn't shot.
I know, I said, you married Reba McEntire in the first film. How the hell do you say a bunch of girls? And Jody, she killed a fucking ass blaster, or is this not canon? Am I going crazy? Probably. But that's another topic for another day.
No, it's good character, because then it's good character stuff for Bert, where it's like, really? Really, man?
You know, this is what I think. I think that we need a TV show. We need a spin-off about Rosalita.
Go on.
She is a very interesting character, and I like her. One of my favorites, if not. But this is a hill I'm gonna die on. So it's at this point when she comes into the store, like, when I was watching it, and first off, Dick Putz is a great name for Twitchell.
Dick
Just
Putz.
putting it out there.
Putz! Dick Putz!
Yeah. But what happened is, I was watching it, and then, like, I was just sitting there, like, I was ready to fall asleep, but then I saw her storm in with a wet t-shirt, and then I had to pause it, like, 6 different times. I'm like, and I shouted this in my room. I said, we have nips! We have nips!
We have nips! We have nips!
This just in, we have nips. But she is my spirit animal. I love her. And then it was during that you guys were or like someone was talking about the actress with Rosalita or something. Because if I remember, she liked my tweet.
Yeah, I think, honestly, she's a real estate developer. I'm still waiting to actually, like, interview her. Like, I sent her a couple emails, but she hasn't gotten back. I'm still, because, like, we got to dissect that shit, man. But we're going to talk about other things. But
I loved her.
I always like to look at that scene as, like, you know what, maybe she was like, no, man, one day I'm going to grow old, and my boobies ain't going to be no pointy. I want them to be on the screen forever. You're going to put me in a white t-shirt? It's going to be nice. Ole
What
motherfuckers.
I was going to say is, a lot of the time, it happens where I'm just standing there, and I'm just watching it, I'm like, this movies! And it only got one fucking season! Okay,
Right.
So,
Right.
and I think that Tyler comparing hunting ass blasters to geese and turkey, I think that's, you know what? I don't think that's too far off.
No. Like, I always love bringing that real world analogy into it. Like, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah.
And I think, and Sigmund and Ray, I remember hearing that name in the third movie. I'm like,
No, it's
okay,
no,
I
it's
get what they're trying to do because that shit was popular.
it's Sigmund. It's Siegfried and Roy in the movie, which is the actual dudes. But then in the TV show, they call them Sigmund and Ray. Like, they change it up.
Because
Copyright, I assume. That's always my guess with that.
So, these two names, I don't know what to do with them. One of the guys' names is Mead, like the beer. Kind of threw me off. But then, the Ass Blaster's name. This is what got me, and this is what makes me laugh every time. Messerschmitt.
Messerschmitt.
But I like Bert's line, call it kamikaze when I'm done with it.
It's threatening our lives.
Mm-hmm. There's just so many callbacks to the first 3 movies in that episode alone, and I love it. And I also think that I'm thinking, what? No, wait, no. Yeah, there are just so many callbacks.
My favorite part of that episode is a callback. Like, that's where it's, like, that's one of my... Nancy, like, actually being upset with herself and having to, like, atone for, oh, yeah, I captured an ass blaster and it killed people. Like, I always really like that. Oh. When you flesh out the character, what were my actions?
And then when she says to the guys, then you would need a medic, wouldn't you? That's the best quote. And you know what? Yes. It's like just saying what Bert says, doing what you can with what you've got. Being practical.
And then I love that
best things
the
about us. Like, we can learn to be practical. Anything can be used as a weapon. You just gotta be smart enough.
And that hammock is what is the end. Like I said, that hammock is the runner. Like at the final, like, oh yeah, that's how we catch the ass blaster was Nancy's hammock. Like,
I'm getting to that.
Sorry, I always love that.
They left, not a blooper, but they left a mistake in that episode when Bert was talking to Nancy, and I checked this with the subtitles. He called her Mindy.
Really? Fuck.
Yes, he said, "Look, Mindy," and I'm like, I knew it.
God damn it. Okay. Well, I have all the episodes on my phone. I'm going to check after this. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
And tell me if I'm wrong.
No, that's where it's like, maybe. I would believe that.
I think to myself, I wonder what the Ass Blaster chef earns to make him these meals. This is a dangerous creature we're talking about.
Well, he only makes the food. I doubt the chef, like, brings it to him. I assume that's a different guy with a less paying job.
I know, but making food for a unique creature where there's only a limited amount of, still must.
How would you know what to feed it to? I've always wondered that. I think that would just be a whole case of trial and error of like, oh, here's some spaghetti. Here's risotto. Here's roast beef.
And I said to myself, it's essentially fly fishing with ass blasters. That's one of my favorite things, and I liked it. And what sealed it in for me was the fact all of the survival school guys just running, yelling with the hammock and throwing it, and still yelling out under, like, gently putting it.
Guys, do something!
It's just so funny.
And then even for like that, and this is what I say the thing with Bert being, oh, you're just a bunch of girls, ends up being a character thing, a writing thing, because then at the end, there's those survival school guys. And they're like, oh, you know, we actually had a really great time. Like, he's worried, oh, I got to refund their money. And they're like, oh, actually, we had a really great time. And you know what? You should really keep the French cooking. You would definitely get my wife out here for that. I'm like, see, Bert?
Yeah, that was my favorite. I learned how to cook on YouTube. So, this was before. So, I was going to say that the whole survival school thing, this was done before YouTube was a thing. So, I think, like, yeah, Bert wouldn't fucking stand a chance these days.
No, so actually, this is one angle. Honestly, with 5, 6, and 7, it's always unrealized potential. There's that video thing that Bert's doing in 5, like his YouTube series. And I was like, I feel like that's a more, like, there's a level of that angle that should have been pushed more. Like, if you were going to, like, restart the series at that point and do things, it's like, because that's a natural continuation to me of Bert Gummer's Survival School. Because he was already making videos. Like, they have tons, like, he's always in the background of an episode. Like, they have him playing on the screen in Chang's. And it's like, oh, yeah, I could totally see Bert Gummer having a YouTube series. Honestly, that whole Michael Gross's freaking, his Gummer for President thing and all the different campaigns he does, or, like, his little...
Don't be a bummer, or vote for Gummer.
Like, those are canon to me. Like, that's like it. I legitimately believe that if Bert Gummer had his own YouTube channel, that is the kind of shit he would put on it.
Yeah, it would be. But anyways, so in, and then we start getting the story type episodes. Like, we get the one with the key. That's Hit and Run. And one thing, I knew that Nick Turturro looked familiar. I had no idea that he was John Turturro's brother. That is amazing, and I love him. He is my favorite, like, side character.
I have to admit, I only realized that he was John Turturro's brother, like, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I am not even joking. I wish that was true, but nope.
And Michael Rooker, he looks so young, but you gotta remember, like, yeah, this was nearly 20 years ago, but even then, with how old he was, he looks so young. It's like, does he have a fountain of youth somewhere? There's something I'm missing.
Virgin blood, that's always what I hear. That's my...
Probably. So, they can't lie on the nightly news. That's another one of my favorites. Are you kidding me? That's all they do. Only 2 kinds of people believe in that. Mobsters and drunks. And I think it's funny how, at this point, even, like, 13 years after the first movie, he says, graboids are a known fact. My dude, they've only been public information for a little over a decade. You cannot make it sound like it's some sort of centuries-old known thing. Don't.
I've always thought that, like I said, with that whole, like, oh yeah, if you didn't think that they were actually real, is way more plausible than it seems. Like, it's just like, yeah, you don't travel everywhere unless you'd actually see it a lot of the times.
I think that it is, yeah. And I think that it is that they had a missed opportunity at this point. They should have advertised Sigmund and Ray's show because they were in Vegas. So they should have had like a poster.
Oh,
like
shit.
Schmidt.
Oh, that would have been good.
I'm like, you guys need something to do. How about this? How about you go see Sigmund and Roy's show with Messerschmitt, please?
Oh my god, I just realized, like, he's legitimately there. Oh, man. Oh, ball drop Tremors, the series. Boo.
I always got ideas. And I think Twitchell, he always needs a reason to bitch. It's like taking vitamins. He needs it to go through his daily life.
I love when he walks in on the Shriek and Destroy episode and he grabs a drink, and that's not free, and he starts putting it to his head. And he's like, hey, Jody, when are you ever going to install a real air conditioner? When are you ever going to start dressing like you live in the desert? So, like, you are complaining just to complain. But
get wrecked.
Like, fuck off, dude.
It's like people who bitch just to hear themselves talk.
It hurts.
I know, don't it? But also, one thing I know is the green screen is so bad in this because it showed Tyler and the guys, like, trying to look for El Blanco. Oh my god, the scenery. Just the way it is, I'm like, oh, honey, no.
Which is funny because they do it fine pretty much every other episode of the series. It's just that one moment when Tyler's driving and then when Frank and Max are driving. Where you can see it's just like, what is happening here? Is this reshoots? Like, now that I say that, it's probably reshoots. Now that I say that, it is probably reshoots.
And when Ert, like, put his survival school on the line, the way he was conditioning El Blanco, that would not work so well, because at some point they would want to see El Blanco. Like,
I know, right?
And so word of mouth would get around saying, no, he's not showing up.
It would make tours go down. Like, I've always wondered how that long-term planning of that, Bert, where it's like, you're making it so the thing that people come here for doesn't come to the Jeep anymore.
Remember what Nancy said, it's always with him, it's shoot first, ask questions later.
Oh, no.
So, Rosalita, always amazing, especially with how, like, she's been... And I mean, I like how she said, like, oh, no one's expecting you to be Annie Oakley. She's like, oh, I played her, and Annie, get your gun. I'm like, Rosie, we need a show about you, damn it.
I love Nancy's, like, she just, like, looks at her just like, that wasn't what I was saying, but anyway.
I think it's also funny how, like, he's like, oh, I gotta tell Max's mom he's gonna be late to dinner. I'm like, oh my god, that is... And I also think that Bert thinks that he can trust a guy because they don't trust the government.
Distrust of the government is no cause for suspicion. I love that little too when, like, the guy's like, hey, could you maybe, like, give me a little bit of privacy? And they all, like, turn around like, oh yeah, no, totally. And then, but he keeps talking and they're like, so what were you saying? Oh no, we're good. Oh, chalk, window. I
also like it when Rosalita says, an innocent man would never leave town without saying goodbye. You know what? She's not wrong, but I've met plenty of innocent men who have done less.
It's called an Irish goodbye. I don't like them either, but it doesn't mean they don't happen.
And I think that it's funny that Frank still has issue with him when Michael Rooker shows up. And I also think it's funny, he doesn't do long-term planning either, because he doesn't think of all the shit that can come for him if he kills El Blanco. Yeah.
I think he was just trying to get in and get out. That's always my... I don't think any of those guys were... Like, they just wanted to slice and grab. They weren't thinking. Like, there's the whole harpooning it. It's like... how are you gonna hold it there, man? Bert has it always right in the third one where it's like I can get them to like swallow this for $49.95. Like you don't. It's not complicated. Like you don't need to have big machine. It's the RC car is like it's all you need to kill graboids or grab them.
And I think and here's the thing, that little thing she did to open up the trunk, that is really handy to do. I have seen it done before.
Oh really? Note to self.
When Rosalia said AAA, I'm like, yeah, I've seen that done.
You could tell that she's definitely secretly not saying everything there.
I know. And another thing is Twitch shouting. One of my favorite sounds of the series. And, you know, and another thing about sounds, you know that shit's gonna go down when the theme song just starts fading in. And, like, you know, that's when El Blanco comes around. And I love it when Rosia said, he definitely doesn't like you, Tyler. If anything, I think that his want to eat Bert is more, it's uncomparable.
I mean, they want to eat each other. I think if Bert could eat El Blanco, he would try. Like,
yeah,
there's a rivalry there. Honestly, I've always been of the, like, Bert and El Blanco, like, they want to kill each other, because obviously, but El Blanco's...
It's like Lita says, he's a Moby Dick to Gummer's Ahab.
But then when it comes to the rest of the Perfectionites, like, El Blanco's like, oh, I actually like you people, so I'm going to leave you alone.
Well, here's the thing. I think that I know that they get smarter as time goes on, but I think El Blanco is like the Einstein of his species, because did he do it on purpose where he launched the fucking harpoon gun right into Michael Rooker? He did that.
Right?
Grabbers did that. The Grabbers took a hold of it, and it was just like,
right?
Happened, and then not only did he have to get harpooned, he got eaten by Graboid.
Dude.
Michael Rooker has a lot on his resume he has to put down.
That's a great kid. When you were talking about the gore, and I'm always like, God damn, that one is. He gets pierced through the chest, and then swallowed whole. Fuck, that's a hard way to go, man.
Yeah, I know, but it's one of the things that we would rather have in a Michael Rooker than us.
Oh, that's where he's known for that character. He's been through a lot. He's a Sci-Fi Channel like staple. That's where it's like seeing him die like that. It's like, yeah, no, you just made Tremors verified.
No, that's normal. And like episode 5, I think that's when things started kicking off for me. I'm like, that's where I'm like, okay, I'm in this for the long haul, baby. I love it. What time are we at right now?
No, keep going. Oh, we don't stop. Girl. Bitch, please.
And when's the podcast going out?
Whenever I get the ability or chance to edit it. Honestly.
Okay.
Could be a day.
Right,
could be a week. I don't know.
I know, but I told my friends, I said, hey, I'm gonna be on a podcast. They're like, link it to us. And I'm like,
honestly, I'm always faster on the audio edit than I am on the video edit, so I might get the audio one out first. But you can, like I said, keep on rambling and talking. Like I said, I was letting you lead. I love where you're going. I just keep being here to like, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, I'd let you talk. Like, I'm trying to just let you
Larry,
talk.
this is where we meet Larry.
Larry is my favorite character in all of Tremors.
I know.
Like,
and I can, and I see why. I think Larry is a very interesting character, and the actor who played him, I recognized him on iCarly. When I saw him on iCarly, I'm like, hold up. That's the guy with the camera on Tremors. I forgot his name when I saw him, and then I looked it up, I'm like, Larry. He's like Grady times 1,000.
Yep. With a great arc,
Larry,
too.
He's a fucking mood. I love him.
I love that there's the one with the bugs, and he can't stop making references, and Jody just straight up, Larry, there's a time and a place for that. childhood.
She's right.
Hey, I like a good reference. Shut up.
We're also children in a way.
But Larry, he is like Grady, like that's why I love him. Is that he's like the ultimate Tremors fan. Like they took Tremors fans, and they put them in Tremors.
He's our perspective.
Yeah, he's us.
So, Christopher Lloyd being Cletus, that I think he was. I don't think they could have picked anyone better because he has like an eccentricity to him, and aside from Doc Brown. This was a role that he was born for.
A lot of people, I see people be like, "Oh, he's playing the same character as Doc Brown," or it's just
No.
It's there's different. A grizzled. I want to say grizzled crazy to like Cletus. Like Doc Brown is eccentric in that sense of like, he's right.
I get it.
But like Cletus, like I said, Cletus. He's seen some shit. He has that. I know what it is. He has that. I've been out in the desert for 30 fucking years alone with a goddamn like rhinoceros animal thing, and he plays like he's nuts. He cray.
Yeah, 412. I like him. So I'm wondering, does 412 understand human language?
I would go with yes. After all those years of talking, like they make it a point of showing Cletus, like 412 can hear him when he's talking to him. So it's like, I would go with yes after all those years.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry about the noises here. I'm just a little congested right now.
It's okay. Do you have some? Oh, we found Don Michael Paul's stash of cocaine. This is what they used to filter Tremors 6 with. Oh my god.
Bert and Cletus, best crossover ever.
Yeah.
Like when I saw, I'm like, oh, name a better crossover. I'll wait, and then I'll wait for people to say Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Power Rangers. Cletus and Bert, yes, please.
Mm-hmm. That little tete-a-tete they have in Bert's Jeep, where they're just two dudes equal with each other, is really like some of my favorite. It's where people say, "Oh, Michael Gross is done and he can't do anymore because he's old." Is like, as I recall, acting is a thing that you can do until you can't remember your fucking lines. So like, why don't we just let old people act? Like it's kind of interesting sometimes. They don't need to run around all the time. Like the most interesting thing in that episode is those two just in that Jeep talking to each other.
Not to me. Not to me.
To me, it is.
I think. Well, to you, it's all on perception.
It's true.
My perception.
What's your favorite?
I like how it starts an entire Mixmaster plot. That's what I like the most. And he mentioned Heather. Shots fired. And do you know what this means? This means he was around for Tremors 1 and 3. How did he get away unscathed? How did a graboid not eat him or an ass blaster not kill him?
I have wondered this myself. Honestly, I've always taken it that he's in such another part of the valley that it's halfway isolates him. But again, I have wondered that too. But yeah, Cletus is always there watching. He watched them like a little peepee voyeur.
Yeah, and another thing is, I didn't know that there were boars in Nevada.
They're like everywhere, honestly. I know we have some in Iowa too.
I didn't know. I've never seen a boar before. Would you believe that?
Never I would. Seen a boar. I've never seen an alligator before, so like.
Oh, let me tell you, there's something. I'll tell you that. So I ship Cletus and Nancy. I don't care what anyone else says. They are my one true pairing.
I like them.
Anyone, I'll bring it. I'll bring it to the table. Her reason of care to like care about someone. I'm like, of course, you and I will go compare notes. I think that she was a teacher before she had Mindy.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Well, the Flying Burrito Brothers is a bomber name. There needs to be a band called that. I would see it.
I think there is. Honestly, I think those things in Nancy's house are actually legit, like bands and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'll ask my mother-in-law. She should know. And he flashed her. Cletus flashed Nancy.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I see it.
Yeah, when he said, "This is where 412 bit me."
Oh, I see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the romance in this episode is unmatched by anything in a Bachelor or Bachelorette series.
Nancy and Cletus sitting in a tree.
What? And oh god, one of the notes that I put down is, I'll take a Tyler Reed tune-up.
Okay.
Oh boy.
It's actually a good.
Oh boy.
That's a good one.
Night, I tell you.
A Tyler Reed tune-up. I like that.
And right after that, I said, he can put his boots under my bed. I am one of thirsty girl for Tyler Reed. I don't know.
I don't blame you. I'm not like sexually into him, but I understand the appeal. I get it.
Yeah. We don't know too much about Harlow, and yet he lives and the horse dies.
Yeah. Oh, poor horse. I love too his like straight up like grabbing that tree and like pulling himself up. Like nice improv, dude. Just like and I'm out.
Uh-huh.
And even the way too where like they're like trying to figure out what it is, and like, oh well, was it a shrieker? Well, I would have said that. I know what one of them is.
I was gonna say, he knows from experience. How does this happen?
Well, I see like Bert gives out pamphlets. There's actually no joke. There's actually a legit Bert like pamphlet book that he wrote. So it's like I assume everyone gets one when you go to Perfection, and Harlow made sure to read it.
Ain't that the truth? How did they get the rights to Jerry Springer? Because they put an old episode on TV,
right?
And because when Cletus was talking to Nancy, he went and he saw it on TV, and he's like, "What's this?" And he said, and she said, she's fighting for, like, she's fighting her cousin. He's like, they're cousins, and she said, yeah, that was the guy they're sleeping with.
And I was gonna say, and so yeah, cousins with the guy they're sleeping with too. So they're all three cousins. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. It's a rerun. Another Back to the Future reference.
And you know what? I think it could have been great for the series, especially with the fact that he's a biochemist in the show.
Oh yeah. Cletus needs to come back. That's where I can't ever say make more movies. They need to just restart the TV show. Like that's all.
Mm-hmm. And then like when Tyler says you're no bigger than a ham biscuit, I'm like, I'm no bigger than a ham biscuit. I'm 4'11".
It means you're petite.
Get any bigger.
Means you're petite.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna leave that for another time.
Well, I'm beer, sorry. Ooh.
That's a line. Wet beer. Okay? Is there any other kind? Like, once that guy just trotted in, the biker.
Oh, so I realized what line you were talking about. Oh, that guy being like, man, you must be thirsty.
Yep.
Again, another person who dies,
like
I don't care. We
found our next victim.
It's true. You can clearly be like, well, and you're going to die next, sir.
Now, I'm thinking, like, how long ago did this lab exist?
They said Vietnam, so I always thought it was like 73.
And here's the thing. If here's the thing. We actually established that, yeah, Bert's family has been in the Nevada region for years. So you would think.
It's a secret government lab.
Thought.
We didn't know about graboids. That's always where I go back to that. Where it's like, I don't know. Things are big, man.
Ahab and Moby Dick reference. That was what we all were waiting for, like, them to be compared. And I think that Cletus is what Bert was afraid of becoming. A man on the run from the government.
That's even the line, too. Where, you know, Bert, what you were worried about all your life actually happened to me. You know, like, I've been on the run. That's why I said I love that. That's my favorite part of that episode. Those two talking. Just straight up equals.
Yeah.
Meeting each other on their own playing field.
So a drunk biker tries to take on a Frankenstein animal. Oh, we all know how this is gonna go. The guy's gonna win. Obviously, no. I like how, like, someone said, it's not gonna be easy to get Rosalita to come. But no, she didn't even put up a fight. She was fine with it.
Again, that's the one with Harlow. Like, oh, you don't gotta tell me twice. Like, you just get up, jump in, I'm out.
Harlow's like right behind you.
Nope. There's a monster coming. Get me the fuck out.
You know what? The biker, he wasn't billed in the opening credits, so yeah, he's collateral.
Darn those opening credit spoilers.
You do not want to be Burt Gummer's problem. You do not want to be Burt Gummer's problem.
Because then it's this Valley's problem.
And it was at this point he, like, sees Rosalita and he, like, I don't know what was going on, but at the time, the note I put in was, "Ayo, Cletus, calm your titties. You gotta calm down." And then that it just dawned on me, I'm like, well, it's confirmed that Rosalita naked tans. I mean, I also like how we got our version of high, noon, and perfection. It's like high noon for Burt Gummer and 412, and I'm all for it. El Blanco, the true hero here, because he intercepted 412. It's like he comes at the most opportune moment.
Like I said, he's trying to protect his townies. That's what I truly feel. Like, he knows when threats are happening to the perfection people. He's like, oh, they bring me my food. I gotta make sure that they're safe.
Cletus's face when 412 gets spit out. Oh my god, he's just like he's like,
it worked!
Fucking Tyler calls 412 an overgrown groundhog. What? And when he said X-ray vision, I'm like,
nothing like stealing a good idea from a comic book.
Yeah, and then here comes with the do what you can with what you got, because when they were all improvising to make that flamethrower,
a fucking flamethrower. I love that. Oh.
They did the same thing in the third movie against the ass blasters.
I love Tremors for, like, showing you, hey, this is how you make a flamethrower. This is how you make a potato gun. This is how you make a bomb. Thanks, Tremors.
Do you believe that I actually did make a potato gun when I was a kid?
I've made one. I 100% believe that.
And I actually did it using some of the instructions from the third movie.
Booyah. Booyah.
So I was a menace. Still am. But, again, another story for another day. I love it when Cletus says, an assessment worthy of a war college.
Like, he's so, like, annoyed, but, like, oh, yeah.
Bert could be a teacher.
Yeah, I get it. You're amazing at what you do. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I like that. So, 412 dying, it was kind of sad for me. I felt bad for him.
I always feel bad for that one. I feel like Bert, like, I get where Bert's coming from, where you just gotta, like, kill it because it's endangering people, but, like, yeah, Cletus is out there with, like, 30 years with that thing.
But I also think that if it could have gotten to a point where he could have been like that with El Blanco. But we'll never know.
Will we? Or maybe...
I also think it's sweet how 412's grave is behind Yancey's house.
Yeah.
that kind of shows like connection with her and Cletus.
I didn't even put that together. That's another one. Thank you for that.
And I love Bert, now on a mission. He has a purpose again. And that's to find the labs. So, I think that, number 6, that was like the one I didn't have so many notes on.
Sorry, numbers, that's a...
Ghost Dance.
That's Ghost Dance, yeah.
So, when they said, in the beginning, they said like, oh, Graboids were after the mine. And I'm like, or, no, the mine was long before the Graboids came. And I'm thinking, no, watch the 4th movie. You're wrong. 4th movie was in 2004. This was in 2005. It fucking retconned itself.
No, it's 2003. Tremors the series aired in 2003.
No, I know. I'm talking the 4th movie.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, the line of the mines were dried out long before the Graboids comes before Tremors the 4 happens.
So would you say that's a hint to what was to come?
No, because they were fucking around so much. Universal was not letting Stampede do anything, so they were on the edge of their seat. I doubt there was much planning in terms of that. It was,
you know what?
it was probably...
I decided to choose it as headcanon.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying. That's Steve Wilson has said that. People have asked him on the fact, and that's usually just like, yeah, just why not? Why wouldn't it just be the same mines? Because who cares?
And I think that it's funny, like, when Rosie and Harlow, they hear screaming, Harlow goes, you stay here, I'll go. She's like, no, I'm coming back.
The hell I will.
Again, she is smart.
She's a strong, empowered female, yo.
And like I say, and this is some real Scooby-Doo shit right here.
Oh, this mist?
Yeah, the mist and like the fact like the bodies are all dried up.
Like, there's another gore part. Like that's horrifying.
I know, it was just... And you know what, one thing I noticed is that shots from, like, I'm thinking maybe, I would say 4 through 6. When you see the opening shots and the intro, a lot of them are taken from 4...
Oh, yeah, from this episode. From Ghost Dance.
Yeah, from
I know
5 and 6.
Twitchell's and Rosalita's is, and I think Jodie's is too. Is from this episode.
And Nancy's.
Yep.
Nancy's, yeah. But anyways...
It's okay. I'm that autistic too. I'm always clocking that whenever I gotta know which episode.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No, I'm being funny. I'm like, no. I get that too. You gotta know which episode the talking heads come from. It's funny.
And you leave the horses at the ghost disposal? Are you kidding me? And I just don't know. And Bert, he is right on something. Like when he's checking out the El Blanco's movements.
Oh, the straight line thing.
Yeah. Right angles and straight lines, they are man-made conceptions.
I saw somebody...
Some are circles in a way.
I saw somebody...
Like perfect circles. Anything perfect, or what we perceive to be perfect, is, in fact, a conception. Man-made object. I saw a tweet once, and I have this thought, too, where I have forever remembered that fact because of Tremors. Like, oh, yeah, there are no straight lines in nature. Everything wants to be a circle. And Tremors has that fucking drilled into my brain just because of that one time. And when you edit the things, like, do you ever put in clips or anything?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no, I like the straight, it's like watching a movie and finding the way that everything progresses, just listening to our conversation as we go through.
Okay. I was just going to say, if you put this on YouTube, one clip that would be perfect to put in is when Randy in Scream goes, everybody's a suspect. That's what I always say, like, when I'm on a tangent with someone, like, it's all connected. Everything fits together. Suspect.
It's Tremors all the way down.
Yes. But anyways, what I was saying is, I for one, I like this. This was more like one of my other favorite ones. I think that Nancy, she's showing her that she's 100% Woodstock. She's a hippie baby.
What? What are you talking about, Bert?
Now, and then when she's talking to Bert about like a vortex or something, when Bert goes, "Don't you start," that is my reaction to all the bullshit that happens in my life.
If we can't
between dealing with my friends' antics and just watching shit happen where I live, it's just like, don't you start.
If we can't remain rational, we are lost.
Rational, are lost. That was one of my favorite lines. And you know what? He chooses to surround himself with these people. He could leave.
Like she says the thing about the vortex, and he grabs Tyler. You live with people, and you think you know them. It's like, you are the last person who has any right to say that kind of thing. You're like, what are you talking about? You crazy town banana pants, bro.
Yeah, and then when they were talking about ghosts, I'm like, ooh, 3 spooky, 5 me. But when Twitchell said methane gas, I'm like, sure. That's the best. I don't know.
What is this, the X-Files?
On a Bert's truck sometimes. Like, I don't know. He's just something. And he talks about how people are weird in perfection. Twitch, you are no more normal than anyone else.
He's there with him. Like, he hasn't left either. Just saying, Twitch.
And then the scream when Twitchell comes out of the cave or comes out of the mine, you can hear it reverberate, and you can hear him screaming out loud. I'm like, I need this as my ringtone. And then I like how Bert, and he's like talking about government-run facility, and he said, "For God's sake, be rational."
That's a great. Clearly, what we're dealing with is some long-abandoned something from the secret biotech underground government laboratory. Like, holy shit, man! Like, do you not hear this? You're not hearing this. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, and when they do that, I like the little tangent between someone who is higher than Twitch on the totem pole.
That G13, like I said, that's always funny.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, fuck you.
13.
Fuck you, dude. I am pretty awesome.
And I'm thinking is, why did, and when they get to the point where the guys are spraying the ghost, I should say, quote unquote, why didn't Charlie run sooner? He could have ran.
Because someone needed to die. Someone had to die.
But he didn't want to. He wanted to try to be a big boy.
No, it was just not good directing, and they needed a body to die, and so Charlie didn't run.
I think there has to be at least one casualty per episode. That's what I think.
You have to show what the monster does in order for that full threat level to be addressed. So, I get it.
Sorry, I thought I heard screaming in the background.
No, I hope not. Unless there's ghosts.
So,
oh, God.
I don't know.
Unless there's a ghost here.
Oh, please, let's not talk about that. Please. So, we can't keep Cletus away for one episode. One episode, and he's gonna be back. It's like, hey, everyone, remember him? I'm like, I just fucking saw him last week.
But that is the point of that, though. In terms of storytelling, here we introduce the concept of Mixmaster, and now we bring Cletus back to cement it. Oh, and here's another monster. so we can move forward. It's really good storytelling. That's where I have to, I can't
Yeah,
miss it.
and you know what? Mixmaster is fucking terrifying.
Yeah. I
just... Yeah, it can't affect humans, but,
everything else it can do? Oh, I have to ask. What's your Mixmaster monster? Like, if you could make one.
You mean, like, my... Oh, no. I wouldn't want to, because that... Like, a creature would be in too much pain. But if they were safe and living a happy life, I would say maybe a prairie dog and a bat.
Okay.
Do you remember when Earl kept falling in each hole, in those holes, and he's like, "Goddamn prairie dogs, little sons of bitches."
Prairie dog, bat. Okay. That sounds cute.
Oh, it would be.
Yeah. I want a hamster elephant. That's mine. A little tiny elephant with fur. A little hamster elephant. That's mine.
And one thing is, I don't like percentages. When they bring in percentages or something, it just sounds too iffy.
What percentages? What percentages?
I'm trying to think what it's from. Like, I think she was... I forget. It's a weed hidden shit. Anyways, can't you blow it up? Yeah, that's Bert's specialty.
I love. Can't you blow it up? You're good at that, Bert.
And you know what? I think it's funny. Napalm. But yeah, they're gonna nuke it with napalm. That's gonna make it worse with Mixmaster.
We're gonna hit it with a strategical strike. Defined. Oh, we're gonna hit it with a surgical strike. Define surgical. It'll incinerate about a 20 square mile area. What? That's surgical?
I love how Cletus just gives the stare to the guy, like, saying, like when the guy's like, "Don't interfere," and Cletus is like, and the guy's like, he's just so fucking done.
I used to be a real man like you.
Yeah, the line between genius and insanity. That is straight facts right there.
Which side of the line are they on?
And he's a genius, in my opinion.
That vac idea works. His plan to use the ice, draw the creature away works. Honestly, they're all ingenious in their own ways.
Yeah, they are. And I liked his idea of using the ice cubes, and I think that Cletus, he's a genius. I hope that he's teaching in, like, the headcanon here.
Ooh, okay.
So, I think it's interesting how he's like, "Oh, you should forget everything you saw. It's easier that way." That makes me think ignorance is truly bliss for some people. And you know what? I think that if Bert would have remained ignorant, I don't know, maybe things could have turned out differently when it came to Heather.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need to know things to be paranoid, so that's definitely a part of that. If he cared less, he wouldn't have worried so much.
Yeah. So, I liked it. And Mixmaster is indeed on the loose, and that's what, like, sets us on for, like, nearly the rest of our journey. And then I stopped at episode 7. After episode 7 was done, I'm like, I was thinking to myself, okay, I need to rest my eyes. I need to sleep for a while. I never got back to episode 8.
Oh, no, you're good. Well, what was episode 7?
Episode 7, Night of the Shriekers.
Oh!
That is the one that stuck in my mind for years.
Fuck yes! It's just one of my favorite.
I remember just the character of the doctor. The woman who's doing The thing with the Shriekers.
Yes, the Shrieker scientist.
She looked so familiar. And I keep wondering, where have I seen her in? So right now, I am looking.
It's Firefly.
I am legit looking. I am.
Oh, you didn't know? It's Firefly.
She looks so familiar.
It's Firefly. That's like if you've watched any Firefly, that's always my like.
Melinda Clark.
Yeah, she's the horror. Actually, she does a bunch of other bit parts in sci-fi movies.
God, that's what I knew from for a minute. I thought that she was in. I thought that she was in a show in a movie called Oblivion. No, she is Julie from Return of the Living Dead Part 3.
Oh, okay. Oh, whoa. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, but I believe you.
Hey, yo, you don't know Return of the Living Dead 3?
No.
You need to watch those movies, man. They are awesome.
I'm sorry.
It's fine, but like those movies are awesome.
Note to self: Return of the Living Dead 3.
Oh, or just all the Return of the Living Dead movies.
That's true. I was gonna say, I assume all of the Deads. All the of the Deads.
Hmm?
All of the Deads. You gotta go watch them all.
All the Living Deads.
All that
Deads. You know, based on your personality, you would love it.
Like I said, I have watched enough of the Deads. I just haven't watched 3 now that I'm just kind of like, huh, okay. Note to self.
Yeah. So, Melinda Clark being it, awesome. So, I think that when you hear shrieker noises and you don't know that there are any shriekers in the area, you know shit's finna throw down. And, like, Bert in his GP heard the noises, he's like, and you know what, you would think to tell the others not to come that way, because, like, you know, like, wouldn't you expect someone to notice that there are barricades in the road?
Again, it's that, like, what we were talking about with the, how did Cletus be around during Tremors 1 and 3? It's a big area. It's a big valley. I always go back to that. Like,
Yeah, but Bert was on his rounds, as he is.
This is where you gotta remember Bert's fucking paranoid as shit and would make a really big ass circle of things. He would try, like, I think he just happened to just get that one area as he went around. I assumed that Shrieker place had actually been up for like a couple of weeks, and he just happened to come in on it, like, while it was in the middle of production. Like, that was not the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so, they do show all, like, there's the explosions happening at the beginning. Like, that's how the episode starts. So I would see him being like, off, what the fuck? Something just blew up. And he's legit going to investigate it.
Mm-hmm. Graboid websites. The girl in Tyler's truck mentioned no sites on the Graboid websites for years. I'm like, what? Okay.
And I'm wondering,
the internet was in its infancy, so
who's running that? Larry, what you doing? You being mean to perfection?
Oh, Larry.
What's going on here, Larry?
Mm-hmm. So they could have chosen any other place. Why perfection?
Like Twitchell says, isolation, topography, same reasons you do, really.
No, but they could have chose another state that was similar.
See, there's a part of me that the more that we talk about this, where it's like I've always had this weird sneaking like suspicion of in the background of just like how much more government weird shit is at play, because it's what was Rhonda doing in the valley in the first movie?
She was doing seismology.
But why did it just happen to be that a seismologist, the one kind of person you would need to know about graboids and track them, just happens to be in the valley?
This is a rabbit hole.
And that's where, like, I know, actually, that's not even my idea. I saw another podcast, like, suggest that, and I was like, huh. And it's not so much that, like, she knew what she was doing, but the question of who sent you out there and why?
You know, I bet it was their idea too. to have her fall in love with one of
Oh
the
my God.
Anakin.
Now that's some real conspiracy shit there.
So
it's a big, it's the government and it's a big valley. That's always my, like, I don't know. There's some weird things that would end up happening that I would let slide because you're like, I'm just not sure. I just don't know.
anything's possible, but anyway, so Rosie, she's bringing all the sass to the girl. She's like, you were wrong. I'm like, oh, Rosie, that's my girl.
This valley is owned by the Department of Interior, which means you gotta go, Chiquita.
I love it.
No, actually, Rosalita is kick-ass in this episode. There's the bit later on where it's like, Bert, I could hit anything with a 12-gauge pump. I believe she could.
Yeah, I believe she could too.
And she does, like she's doing. And actually, now
that they found it in the Sahara, I'm thinking, you know, that could work as a movie. And then Tremors 5 comes along. Not quite the Sahara, but you know, search and rescue shriekers. That's not actually a bad idea.
The heat vision, that's a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think so too. Like, it would be, if you could get them docile or whatever, find a way to train them, that would be kind of fun to, like, try. I think it's incredibly stupid and no one should try it, but that doesnn't mean that we can't try it.
I actually have a theory. Now, at that point, Mixmaster had already been loose, kind of, in the first Tremors. That's what I believe. I believe that one of the graboids turned into shriekers, they turned into ass blasters, and one of them ended up, like, they all ended up going in different directions and planting more eggs. And I think that's where, like, some of these, like, instances come from, like the Sahara Desert, Africa.
And why the graboids look so much weirder and different.
Mm-hmm.
They got mixed mastered a little.
What's more? Yes, I was going to say what's more. I think it could be possible. That mix. You see, we only ever saw graboids back in the Old West. Only ever graboids. Because, and it took over, about a month. Like, for things to get going. They didn't even turn into shriekers yet. So I'm thinking perhaps it originated in perfection. The Mixmaster gave them the ability to morph into shriekers and ass blasters, and thus continued like a whole tree of geneticism.
That's actually not bad. My one problem with it would be, like, you take away the opportunity to do stories where you have the shriekers and the ass blasters in the past. Which I always
That's what I'm saying.
It's not bad. I was just more like, that's my, like, you could, if you want, which way do you want to spin that dice or that coin? That's the...
Well, it's up to the listener on what they would want.
That's what I mean. I'm not, can't say on that one. I personally, I would go either way. That was fun. I've often thought of, like, what do you get with graboids and Mixmaster? That's my shrieking grab blaster. We need all three of them together. It's true.
So Tyler totally simping for her. He's like, oh, she can make me sit down in bed. I'm like, I could do that, hon. I could make you sit in bed if you wanted to.
There'll be leashes involved.
Mm-hmm. And once the storms start coming, I'm like, thank God they're not Mogwai. Thank God they're not Mogwai, because if they are, or if they would, that would be horrendous.
Although, now that you say that, it is a similar idea where they do multiply super fast. Huh. I never even thought of that, like, comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the idea.
Everything isn't always DEFCON 5. It's more DEFCON 4 for Bert. DEFCON 5, you don't want to see him at DEFCON 5. I don't want to see him at DEFCON 5. Shriekers wait for no one. I think that was a line in the episode. I'm not sure.
No, it is. Yeah, Shriekers wait for no man. Yeah, Bert. As if we don't know that already.
Mm-hmm. Again, more gore than in the movies. Like they're straight up. It's straight up slaps.
Like that one guy gets like blood splattered in his face even.
Mm-hmm. I did like it when Bert said to Rosita when she said about the 12 gauge, he said, I bet you could too.
I bet she could. Like,
and he was doubting, like, 5 episodes prior.
I was just going to bring that up too.
About girls, a bunch of girls. Are you kidding me?
Well, we would call that character growth then, technically. Like, he learned something.
And you know what? It doesn't make sense order-wise either, because that was the second episode that was aired, and then the next episode was Blast from the Past, and he says a bunch of girls. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. So this does.
Fuck you, sci-fi. Continue. Oh, sorry.
Well, I miss sci-fi, honestly.
No, I meant with the Y's, not sci-fi with an I. Sci-fi with a Y. They can go fuck themselves.
No, that's what I mean. Oh yeah, sci-fi with a Y. Yeah.
Like they sci-fi with a Y sucks. Bring back my science fiction.
With Tripping the Rift and
Oh my God, Tripping the Rift. I forgot that show.
You and I gotta talk sometime off podcast.
Wow.
We could be very good friends. I have a
hell yeah, man.
But every time Twitchell yells, I'm all for it. Dean Norris, he's got pipes on him. I love it. So it's basically, I think that this Megan girl, she's a Jurassic Park wannabe, wanting to try to do something with these Shriekers. She's trying to do something that matters. I get it. But I just don't like it.
Don't do it.
Electric cars were clutch even then, because the one guy, Otto, he was driving an electric car. I'm like, this show was like predicting things that
ahead of the curve.
I don't know. Yeah. Anything for progress. You know, they'll do anything for progress, Megan one. She would even risk the people around her. When Jody says about the Shrieker carcasses, she said, I wish he would leave some intact. Could be my new attraction. I'm like, she should be running her own multimedia, like her own business.
No, that's good planning. She's right. Like, Bert always shoots them to pieces, and it's like, dude, that would be great to, like, have one in formaldehyde, and you'd have a little fucking Shrieker on display. People would love to see that.
I had a thought. In the third movie, Jody offered to buy a graboid egg from the one scientist. He died. Did she ever get that graboid egg?
He said he was going to send it straight off to the Smithsonian, but still.
But it was on the same day that it happened. It all happened on the same day. There's no fucking post office in perfection.
It's true, and she would be the post, too, so there would be that, like, oh no, your packets got lost.
And plus, they can't get to Bixby that fast.
Oh, man.
Not that time of day.
Oh, I bet. Oh, no. I could see Jody going for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it's not a racism thing. It's more just like, this is the Changs from what I know from Walter. Yeah, I feel like she would try to, like, scam that. That's definite Chang territory.
Megan. Dr. Megan. She is fucking nuts.
Yeah, when she dies, it's another, like, you know, you kind of lost me caring about you when you blew up all the ammo. Like, you don't blow up Bert's ammo. It's not cool, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the callback to the third movie, like, when they have it full of, like, it's that room where the MREs were in and stuff, and they have the tunnel callback.
Oh, yeah. Well, how do you know that? I used it once during an ass blaster invasion. Thank you, Jody.
Which, again, yeah, but weren't you supposed to be more badass from that? No, they turned her...
I know, right? Like, she has that, and it's kind of a good character line, but where she's folding the blankets, and she's like, I have to do something to keep from freaking out, okay? And I'm like, I am not 100% sure that that's the same person who was just...
She has OCD.
Like, I get that, but it's the, like, I don't know. Like, she gets almost too scared in this episode where the Jody in 3 was way more level-headed.
Wait, I think I know what it is. PTSD.
I would believe that. A lot of my personal Tremors fiction has to do with, like, the survivors experiencing a shit ton of PTSD, because why the fuck wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Alright, so, whenever, again, Twitch yelling, going nuts. Nancy's face when she screamed at Twitch to shut up.
Twitchell!
I know, just a face, and she's like, I also think that, it's funny how we learn a little bit more about Twitch. He's a family man, and he plays guitar.
12-string guitar. He's got a Gibson 12-string.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always like, a 12-string? Who the fuck are you? Whoa.
Yeah, and I like the thing when, Twitch will find him and he, like, says, it's a gummer kind of door. Yeah. So, anyways, Megan, she gets out into the van. Oh, yeah. Receiver was fried. Well.
Don't have your backup, do you?
Mm-hmm. The fact that they started to dig, that the Shriekers was learning to dig, that was awesome. I was all for that. Now, the moment when Nancy said, I had some radical friends. You know what? I have no doubt that she was one of the radicals.
Yeah.
That she would do it. That teaches you how to make a fucking... I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it on podcast. And I remember those specific moments that I remember clear as day when they bring back, like, when they open up the thing to the tunnel and you see the Shrieker right there. I remember that. That's the one scene that I remember clear as day.
It's a great practical effect, too. Like, it just popping out and just...
Mm-hmm.
Ah! They're screaming the hell out of it.
And fucking Twitchell covered in Shrieker guts.
And that one little piece drops off his ear and lands on his shoulder. Mm-hmm. Oh, the timing. This is perfect.
Yeah. I also like how the other doctor, he's the last one, he survived. He was the other assistant to Dr. Megan.
Yeah, he didn't end up as cannon fodder. I'm always surprised by that at the end. Like, oh, wow. Hey.
But I was expecting some sort of payoff, like for him to say something like, I'll make sure that this never happens again, or I'm so sorry, or...
Wasn't in the budget!
I know. But then, my favorite scene was at the end was when Nancy was trying to talk to Bert into, like, getting...
Single man's rustic retreat. Oh, man. Oh.
And I'm like, don't try to manhandle Bert.
What? More attractive to whom? Other people? Long lost relations stopping by? An endless stream of overnight guests? Might as well open up a bed and breakfast.
I could see that happening.
Actually, that's one of my.
And that's where I stopped watching.
I love that final character thing too, because he community socializing, ha! But then like 4 episodes later, he's going to the community potluck. So you're like, what is this hypocrisy? So,
but anyways,
as far as you went, what? Give me some of your thoughts. Honestly, you've been giving. Oh my god, honestly, I don't even know. Holy shit, I had a whole bunch of like questions to ask you, but I almost need to do another episode with you.
Are we talking part 2?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, oh my god, like, I was just kind of you stop. Now I'm like, oh.
How about you ask a few questions?
You stop talking.
How about you just ask a few?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's not a question.
But the other episodes are good too.
What?
I'll say that.
Meh. It's me. Episodes. Honestly, like I said, I want to hear. My brain's just like, damn it. I need to hear the rest of your thoughts on 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Maybe a part 2.
Honestly, my biggest, since you were talking about it, I always just love that, like, should Tremors continue as the TV show? Do you think the TV show is the best way? What's your season 2 of the TV show? Like, sorry, you talk about the Tremors the series so much. That's where I'm at, where it's like, how would you continue Tremors the series?
That would be a toughie. I would say perhaps we were to have Mindy come back. And now she has her own family. And they have to be kind of like the new, in a way, caretakers of perfection. That El Blanco is back. And there are a whole bunch of different problems, and Mixmaster's still being on the loose.
I never thought of the Mindy angle. That's actually a really good one. Coming back with her family. Because I've always wanted to get Ariana Richards back, too. Just to, like, it's one of the... when an actor comes back and does a role, that's always a big thing. So I always like, wow,
I'm going to say this. I hated Mindy in the 3rd movie. I hated her.
She doesn't get much to do in that movie. She's underutilized.
She is very self-entitled.
She just wants Jack, man. She's just jacking off. Leave her be. That was a joke. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, okay then. I'm sorry. Oh no, I always feel.
That's how I think it would feel.
No, I always feel bad for Mindy in this. In the
some legacy characters back. Bring Harlow back.
Yeah. Bring Twitchell back. Honestly, it's all the bring Larry and Tyler back. Bring Grady back.
Twitch would be retired by now.
But wouldn't it be like wonderfully ironic if he ended up like helping to take care of El Blanco because he loved him too?
Let's not go too far, bud.
Well, okay. I'm sorry that I live in a world full of hope and dreams. My bad.
That's fine, just don't let it happen again.
Okay.
That would work. So, what other questions?
Honestly, I was just gonna halfway. What are your questions for me? I was gonna wrap it up and like I think we should do a part 2 sometime. I could tell. Like I need to So my brain just can't stop hearing. I need more from you. Actually, there's a whole bunch of, when I go into the questions, they all like flow into each other and they have different purposes for why the one goes after the next and the other. So it's like.
Have you ever had a part 2 with someone?
No, actually, I've had a 3-parter. I'm working on a part 2 for another 2 people. So no.
Yeah. Levi, I'm up for it, man. Part 2, let's do this.
Booyah. Shabooms. So, okay, cool. We'll halfway wrap it up then. I always like to, let it end on, like I said, if you have anything to yell at me about.
Nope.
Okay, well.
Nope, I don't have anything to say. I'm perfectly, I feel good.
I disagree. See, that's where I have so much more I can tell you'll say. That's what my notes are for. I didn't get to... You got to use all your notes. I didn't get to use any of mine.
He's pissed.
That's kind of awesome.
Oh, no, sorry, my friend's pissed off here.
No, Jesus Christ.
I went into his Discord. I'm like, I'm on the podcast. He's like, why are you here?
Wow! Like I said, I'm going to try to get this edited, at least the audio edited fast so you can send it out to people. That's always fun. I thank everybody all the time. So, yeah, thank my people. I love you all. If you've been thanked before.
Oh, do you want to give them my plug or something?
No, I was actually going to, and I was just finishing my thank yous, and I was going to end on let you talk. Plug and thank your people.
Okay, so I can do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thanks for listening. I'm Artsy Gremlin on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, on Twitter. I am at Scroomy Noodle on Twitter. And I want to give a shout out to my friends Zero, XX, Origin XX on Twitch, DarkSalxm, Mav, Lacey, and Perth. And thank you, of course, Levi, for bringing me onto this. Thank you for bringing me onto this. I appreciate you so much, man.
It's just
you are a sweet guy. You're handsome, and you got charisma.
It's just a podcast where we talk, and there's tremors. That's all it is. I just hit record. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you. All right, that was very fun.
Yeah, like I said, I was flattered that you were like talking about doing a podcast. I don't even know how the hell you heard about this, but it was like, oh, come on.
It just happened.
Just come on. Yes, hello. I didn't think 6 months ago I'd be doing a podcast, so look at where we're at now. Booyah.
I think it's funny. But
It is
yeah,
fun.
it's how many viewers do you get?
I honestly have no idea. I was actually... the podcast, the audio version of the podcast itself, is at like 1,000 listens so far. And then the YouTube channel, at least the ones with my videos on it, at least maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 views on those. So that's where...
Oh, okay, I like that.
Yep. So that's overall. I was gonna say the highest one is I think me doing the Kevin Bacon pilot, which is like 900 people listen to it. Actually, the one I'm really proud of is that Tremors 2 one, the Lost Monsters. That one has like 500 people listen to it. I'm like, hell yeah, cool.
So, if possible, do you think that you could put some of my links in like the YouTube
Oh,
thing?
send them all to me. I'll make sure that everybody else that's supposed to know like gets it into the thing. So I will keep the word going. Okay. I'm usually just a middleman messenger person. I send it. I edit this out.
I appreciate you.
And I send it out.
You do all the hard work.
Like this is normal for me. This is the easy part. Yeah. What's up?
All right. Well, I hope that it goes well. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, thank you, Paige. It's been awesome.
Mhm.
Any last words from you?
Nope. Except like, always have the critical need to know information. Also, do what you can with what you got.